Welcome to Meditation Mondays. I'm really excited to offer this. The idea, I always see these meditation courses or things being offered, and I'm like, well, you know what? There's no need to sign up to a course. You can just come and tune in each Monday and join in on sharing of your personal practice and any challenges or difficulties that you've experienced this week or things that you just wish to address. So, you're welcome to always share any questions that you have. I'm Josie, if you haven't connected to me prior. And I have been meditating for almost, I guess, 30-ish years or so. It's been a practice since I was a child and have had the opportunity to move through multiple types of meditation practices until finding one, my personal one that resonates most and that I've been able to continue to receive the benefits from. So today I was guided to check in on what may be some of the difficulties that you are perceiving about your personal practice. And I want to also really be clear that these sessions, and it's cute, I was actually in conversation with someone last week, and they're like, I really enjoy that you don't do Spirit 101. And so, yes, this is in conversation about meditation, knowing that you could be on the journey for a very long time. It's not that in speaking of difficulty or challenges with personal practice or about maintaining a personal practice is saying that you have failed or that you are not on a spiritual journey. I acknowledge that each and every one of you that chooses to join me live for these or to listen to them on replay is on a spiritual journey and has been even through the fluctuations of life. So I welcome you. Welcome. And in that, knowing that if you are a beginner in meditation, there's many guided meditations on my page that can assist you in cultivating a practice. And I aim to, of course, share some information within these sessions that could be accessible to wherever you are in your meditation journey. So that is the intention behind these sessions. I'm excited to also be more here on YouTube as my main place I tend to chat. I tend to talk lots. So this works really well to be able to connect in truth from my heart and from my center. So I thank you for stepping on this journey with me. Something that has come up in my practice and I've been seeing it for sure with the shifts and the changes that spring has brought and the growth that is asked of us, that you see all around you, that, things are starting to grow, things are starting to bud. And, hearing all this even around Easter weekend of, this rebirth time. So I wanted to check, do you feel any pressures around that to kind of like ensure that you are on this growth cycle and what may feel uncomfortable in your growth? Oh, welcome, Debbie. You're finding guided meditation much easier to do than meditating on your own. Yes. Guided meditation is a beautiful practice. My dog Paco joins in and he's saying hello. For when, and this actually this is so neat, Debbie, this actually kind of connects to what I was going to share. Because guided meditation works really well when you may be feeling tired, when you may be feeling kind of like, you don't have the motivation to do your own personal practice. There's thankfully all these different types of guided meditations there that can allow you to kind of to journey with the sound of the person's voice, to journey with the energy that is shared within that meditation. And so the challenge sometimes is then, and I shared this a little bit on last Monday on IG, is that like we then sometimes get dependent on the guided meditation to allow us to get to that journey. And then there's sometimes even times in listening to someone else that you may feel you kind of have plateaued. So I was really getting the nudge to speak of this type of feeling of plateauing, feeling of, that you're like, okay, I'm just doing the do, even in my practice. We have such, we have such a society that really asks of us to continuously do. And that there's so much of even our productivity and our practices and our dedication to things that almost is well boxed in the collective at large. So I'm interested in hearing what sometimes may be then the difficulty in personal practice. Is it, that the times that you do have time or space on your own, is it that you're just tired and you end up just going to sleep? Or is it that there's an uncertainty or an uncertainty around how to put forward the effort that sometimes is shown around the personal practice? And so you're welcome to kind of chime in if you wish to share in some of the prompts, or these are just things that you can internalize and think of further. But for me, I remember, coming as an athlete, as a kid, and being taught meditation for so long that I brought that same type of tenacity to a practice. Like usually that diligency in my own personal practice would come prompted from someone else telling me, to do it. So like if a teacher said, listen, you need to practice 5 days a week for the next 5 weeks, I'd be like, okay. And I would do it. But then if there wasn't someone telling me to do that, if it was just from my own personal accord, it sometimes would actually shift. I really started to see this pattern that, because we're so used to, be it in work situations or, in many life situations, being given a task that we then, do our best and put our best foot forward, so to speak, in making that happen, so sometimes that is an easy way of stepping into meditation as just another task to do for we're like, well, I have to get this project done. I have a deadline. So I'll just give myself a deadline. I'll just give myself a schedule. And I will adhere to that because it seems to have worked with the other things that I've scheduled in my life. And so sometimes the challenge in building and sustaining a personal practice is because that may work for a bit. That may work for a season. That may work for the 5 weeks that I was told to. But when the task then is done, or when the other thing is not telling you must do, be it the app with the reminder that you must do this, then it's more challenging to step into. Because meditation, as much as it's a practice, it's a bit of a conundrum in that, because it is a practice. It's something that we do, but it is also a state of being. It is also something, a choice, in where we release the schedules, where we release the tasks at hand, and choose simply to be with self. That's a big one. Because choosing to be with self doesn't have a time limit. Choosing to be with self in a high state of awareness, of really just being very, very present with self, also then will, instead of sometimes what a guided meditation brings, which will bring you on a journey, bring you on an experience, bring you on a ride, right? There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. Your personal practice may not be in that same structure. You may begin, and then you may open your eyes and you'll be like, oh, I ended. You may begin and start on a journey and then lose the journey completely, and then feel like you've failed or done wrong in the practice. There's a lot more darkness that comes in personal practice. There's being shared, I have more resistance meditating on my own because it's much more agitating without a voice to focus on. Yes, agitation, the darkness, the stuff that shows up. Ironically, it's so much harder to let go in silence. Okay. Two things there. Thank you for sharing those, because the agitation is that, what I mean is what shows up, right? The wildness of meditation, well, not the wildness, but this is actually even from my yogic studies in meditation. One of the very key tenets of meditation is to observe the pain and the pleasure threshold that we carry, and to because we tend to sometimes think, oh, from guided meditations, I get to a really clear place. I get to a really pleasurable place. So if then my practice on my own feels painful or agitating or difficult, then I'm doing it wrong, or it's not it, right? But the guided meditations get you to those sweet spots because of that journey, as I shared, but then also because we are allowing ourselves to go. We are allowing ourselves to experience. And I know some of you do practice my guided meditations. They're not short. Sometimes they're 40, 50 minutes long. And so there's something in that also, and you're going, wow, I was actually able to allow myself to go and allow myself to be and to explore for a longer amount of time. And then when you're in your personal practice, when the pain shows up, when the shadows show up, when the darkness shows up, then we think it's bad. But it's quite incredible, this pain pleasure threshold, because of course we know it varies dependent on a person, what you denote and typify as this is pain and this is pleasure. And then also I need to add is that sometimes, because of what we typify as pain, we actually step away from some really pleasurable experiences. And I know this sounds kind of weird, but I'll I'll explain from a little bit of a story. Just it's a short one. But there was about a week ago or so, it was a beautiful sunny day, grateful for when we have those really like spring sun days, and you're just like, life is fabulous. The sun is shining, people are out, birds are chirping, all of this. And I was just having a seat outside and just taking a breath in. And I was like, wow, I was feeling so much gratitude and just so open to the connection that nature brings. And I started to feel in my body this painful ache. And so naturally, my mind, and this is what meditation will start to allow you, right? Like, so my mind there goes, pain, what's wrong, right? Pain must equate wrong. And so my brain then kind of fires up to try to figure out what's going on. Like, everything's great. Why is my body aching? And my practice with meditation, I was able to also welcome this sensation, welcome this pain sensation, and breathe into it. And as I breathed into this ache, it was like a really incredible ache. I realized that the closest that I could explain this ache was my body expanding, my body growing to accommodate joy. And so that joy, once I realized that it was an ache of actual expansion, of growth, and I breathed into that ache, I breathed into that pain, and started to actually sense and feel what joy is. We're so serious on our spiritual path. We're so, stern in our journey. And we're so focused on going like, I say it all the time. I'm like, peace, love, joy. This is what we want. That it was the wildest thing that when it was that sensation was actually in my body. This wasn't a bliss sensation that I'm used to within journeying, right? Journeying and exploring more within energy. This was a really physical experience. And so I was grateful to not kind of shut down from that pain, not run away from that pain, but to breathe into it and actually discover what it was sharing with me. It was going, Jose, like, expand, allow this ache. This is like waking up parts of your ribs so that you can really sense the grandioseness of this feeling that you want, this feeling that is here now. So that is the power of personal practice. I'm not saying that I just carry it, because I do it, right? Each and every one of us carries that power to start to sit, even in no structure. I say there's no structure equals, am I even doing this right? Yeah, it's like, to sit with that, to sit with what comes up, to sit with, of course, we understand, and we've been told for so long to sit with the mind, to sit with like the thoughts that arise, to sit with, the self-doubt, am I doing this right? Is this long enough? Is this correct? All of that stuff. And for sure, absolutely, that's part of the practice. But it's also to sense the feeling, the emotion. We sit in meditation, and it's not just a mental practice. It is an emotional practice if you can allow yourself to breathe and you can allow yourself to be. And then it can then simultaneously work on assisting both the emotional body and the mental body. To bring, now this is an interesting thing, because I was going to say to bring more clarity to both, But of course, that then would denote that there was an outcome. And we really like to do things for a specific outcome. We like to do a deadline because we know then the thing will be done, the project will be complete. I've spoken about this with some of you. But the rightful action, the idea behind doing simply for the state of doing is stepping yourself into the flow of action and then being simultaneously in your body, being simultaneously with your thoughts, with the feelings, with everything that arises it's just such an incredible balance that yes, during the process, there might be times of immense discomfort, almost like you might feel like you're going to explode, like your thoughts are going to blow you apart. The feelings that you sense might be so uncomfortable that you actually feel them physical pain, And so then the practice is just going, how can I choose to be here for one more breath? Okay, I did that. Can I be here for one more? If I need to step away, I know that I have the power to choose. I can open my eyes at any time. I can pick up doing something else at any time. But the personal practice is, and I was going to swear, but it's the freaking scariest because we are accessing all of us in that is now. We are accessing the deep, dark parts of us, as well as the light, sweet, pure parts of us. And there is a courage and a bravery that can occur within the meditation practice. And that bravery is that choice to still be with you, even when the dark parts show up. My mentor, Nukumi, actually has on her YouTube a beautiful talk recently on demystifying the darkness, which I highly recommend. And one highlight, though, that was so resonant to have it just said, because it's like, yeah, that's exactly it. It's like the dark is simply the unknown. It doesn't denote bad. And so what meditation practice then brings is the unknown into the known sensations of presence, so that those things that might not have the time to express themselves, that might stay there or might reside there because you've put them there, that might feel heavier or more challenging, will first surface because they're like, I'm actually not part of the unknown. I am known. You just don't want to know me. You just don't want to deal. And so at times we may first sit and sift through that, right? To breathe into and welcome the self-doubts, to breathe in and welcome the negative self-talk, to breathe in and welcome the irritations that may be felt from previous cycles or even people that have come into your life. And then as you sit with them and process kind of the emotions and breathe with it, that's all we got to do is just breathe. We're sitting and breathing and going, I'm still here. I'm still choosing to be here. I'm facing it. I'm facing that dragon. I'm facing the heavy. I'm facing the stuff that is uncomfortable. And slowly but surely, what will be uncomfortable will slowly start to clear. That's the gorgeousness about emotions. They move, and they may move with tears coming down our face, or they may move with simply the breath, and you'll start to actually feel. And this is a really incredible thing in kind of denoting what is heavy energy and what is lighter energy, is that if you feel certain areas of your body that feel very heavy, as these thoughts and emotions are kind of playing, right? Focus on that heavy area and breathe into it, almost as if you're embracing it. You're giving life to that, and that breath is almost the bellows to assist in breaking up the heaviness, to start to dissolute it, to allow it to move once again. And over time in your practice, you then can actually feel this gorgeous draining effect, that the heaviness, once you start to feel that it's moving, you can actually share an intention of going, I'm sharing this that is releasing to the earth. I thank you for receiving it. And you can actually literally feel the heaviness moving from your body into the earth, and allowing then what is behind that heaviness, what is behind that difficulty, what is behind that thing that was stuck and hidden in the dark, what is actually the darkness, which is very comforting, actually very loving, and very peaceful. So meditation, I agree, is a really heroic act. It's a really powerful and brave practice, for it's a choice to sit with self and to move through the fluctuations that we may experience within a day, even if you have been on your spiritual journey for 10, 20, 30 years, right? To still, to witness then still the movements, and to accept that they are there. One, going there's always that thing of going, but I've done so much healing work. I've done so much work. Why is it still showing up? And going, well, like, it's a day. There's so much going on in a day. There could be the wet from the weather. It could be from the collective thoughts that are moving through. It could be from how the sun's close or how the moon is close. And it could be that all that beautiful spiritual journey and all that work and all that healing that you have done have brought you to a deeper space to witness things that you may not have had the courage to face before. There's so many layers of what we carry. So in that bravery, right? This is an interesting thing, because sometimes bravery and courage, we denote to somewhat of a warrior. We denote to someone that is, I am here and standing my ground and strong as anything. I'm ready, charge, and there will be days sometimes when you will feel that bravery and gusto, just like a warrior, and going, okay, I'm doing this. But it's a daily practice. And so, of course, every warrior needs to take a break. They need to take a pause. And so then how can you sustain a courage that comes not from a place of opposition, that comes also not from a place of fighting, comes not from a place of going, I am going to do this, with that fervor because you will be battling and combating what's inside. That only works for so long. That only works for so long. And so the days that I am most tired teach me the most of my practice. For there will be times when I'm like, oh, I'm getting all these dings and pings and ready to, oh, okay, this is going to be an exciting channeling connection. Or where will I go today? What level and dimension will I explore? And I close my eyes and I breathe and I go to sleep. And so then you even sometimes feel a little guilty of that, of going, oh my gosh, my meditation practice is ruined. I fell asleep instead of went to where I was supposed to go. There is no supposed to. There is no destination. And yes, in a lot of ceremonial practices and a lot of guided meditations, we may have an intention that is placed that opens us to a path to move through. But even with that intention, we must allow the destination to be open. We must allow the destination or the ending to be open so that, or else you'll just be waiting to get there. And if you see it, if you see that destination you've given yourself, you'll just try to speed up the journey. And the beauty of the journey is the pace, is the walk, is the seat, is the gentleness of it, to allow yourself to acclimate and to receive all that comes in the process. I'm glad you're not the only one. Nope. There will be times when you will be able to sit for an hour, maybe even 2 hours. Who knows? That would be really cool. I think 2 hours sometimes that would be like when I didn't have a dog and wasn't living in a city. Maybe that would occur more. And sometimes the practice may be going, I choose to close my eyes and I choose to breathe, even if it's 3 breaths. And then the practice, then the daily practice comes in accepting what occurred within that day. And accepting that one day you did 3 breaths and then you fell asleep. Accepting then that maybe later you will feel more alert and you might choose to do a guided meditation. And that the next day you'll start the day with the practice. And it will be for 20 minutes. And then maybe the day after that, you have actually a couple hours in the afternoon and you realize you're nourished and you've peed and you've checked all your emails and you can just go, I can turn off for a bit. I can turn off this for a bit and allow myself to be here. The no structure thing is a big challenge because and I have even been taught by many meditation teachers about the diligence of the practice. Of doing 15 minutes for the first week and then build it to 20 and then go from there and do this. And put a little metronome timer on, get used to the sound. It will help with your breathing. I've been shown a lot of different diligent practices. And the one that has stuck with me is breath, most definitely being aware of my breath and allowing myself to honor the fluctuations in the structure, to honor the differences. Because then what's really exciting, there's something that really exciting actually that does happen from that, is that then some days that practice is really personal. Like you're sitting there with the agitation and the shit and the shadows and all of it, and you're breathing. You're like, I love you, and even with all this stuff, I'm breathing with you. I'm here for it. Show it to me. And you may get to a really beautiful clearing. And then there will be other days, because of that openness to the direction, that openness to the time, that you may then receive very profound moments when you are able to step beyond that stuff within. That stuff within actually has been, dealt with in the layer that you're in, and you'll transport yourself to some completely different dimension of awareness, and may have deep, deep connections to spirit, to creator, and more. And so by allowing some of the structure to go, it's then you're giving permission to your being. You're sharing the same trust that we ask of ourselves. Trust that in-source creator, trust in the earth, trust in Earth Mother, trust in your spirit team, trust in your ancestors. You are taking that same trust and giving that to yourself, going, I trust you. Fill in your name. I trust me. I trust my center to bring me exactly the experience that I am meant to receive. And so all I need to do is experience it. And when my mind or my emotions try to catch me up and get me thinking that I'm in the reins right now, just the mind is in the reins, or just the emotions are holding the reins, or even the expectation of what you want to do. Like, I was wanting to channel and now spirit's not speaking. Let it go. Let go of the reins, let go of it, and go, I trust you, heart. I trust you. I trust you to share exactly what I'm meant to receive. Allowing that need to feel that bravery has to be for something, anything else except for you. To be bravely sitting and breathing with you. Any questions that brought up? Another thing that I will talk of, because actually I don't think I've talked about it before, is crystal meditations. Stones, parts of earth. There is something that stones carry. Energy. Who would have thought? But stones have carried energy that has been compacted and maintained and contained for a very long time. And then crystals, of course, it's been refined and compacted and pressed, right? It's a very, a whole lot of knowledge, a whole lot of knowing, a whole lot of spirit, a whole lot of connection and clarity and energy is going into something this big. So one thing as well in your personal practice that you can do to get yourself kind of like feel a little bit supported, as you may wean yourself off of doing guided meditations all the time, is to do meditations with stones. And they can be crystals or even like river rocks, or other stones that you have asked from nature if you can collect and bring into your home. From different, even wherever you've received them, be it a crystal store, be it in nature. And the one thing I would share about, well, a couple things, but the first thing that I would share is if you are doing meditations with stones that are from nature, to know that that can be a very grounding and healing meditation, because it is sharing with you wisdom, knowing, and love from the land. So it's a really, if you're getting a nudge to kind of like deepen your connection to the land, deepen your connection to your intuition, or the rhythms of your body, to the rhythms of nature, a stone is a very potent tool and being. And I'm correcting myself because it's not just a tool, to assist you in that connection process. Of course, you can, in that, even meditate with plants, with herbs, with flowers, with the energy. But know that plant siblings will share certain teaching. They have certain, wisdom within each plant. So to choose the plant that best or most speaks to you at that time, to not feel like you have to do it with only one specific plant. That's a really lovely tool. And also practice with another that may not be talking to you though, but will allow you to connect further to the rhythms that are within you. And so in that, you can either hold the rock, or even if you're lying down, you can place the rocks on you. But one, with crystals, of course, as we know, carry different energies dependent on the crystal chosen. Like this hematite is a very, very connecting to earth thing. And if I meditated with this, I would probably just go to sleep, because it would be like, pull me right into earth. And maybe I'd go on a very, deep sleep earth journey. But what I'll share, when you are feeling tired or feeling not motivated, to choose crystals that naturally have a lot of shifts of perspective. And what I mean by that is, and this is what I learned actually when I was doing a lot of video work in one of my past lives in this body, was that, I'd have the video camera, and then you take a crystal, and so usually the crystals would be a little bit larger that we use for this. And so you'd be shooting something, and then you'd put the crystal there, and it would create the most fractalized or dreamy effect into what you saw on the camera. And that is kind of telling of what a meditation with a crystal does, is that it allows the shifts of perspectives to occur in a really like fractalized and pretty manner. So if you are looking kind of for a boost and an assistant when you're feeling a little kind of like, personal practice, Quartz 100% will allow you to have a really clear meditation and to expand a bit of your horizons, because of course it's with the assistance of the earth in a very refined form. Another one that is very, very loving for meditation journey is amethyst. Amethyst sometimes is known as the intuition stone, but further, the energy of it, and this I connected to when I was exploring with Akashic, through different collective records, and as well with my my star teachers of how to travel safely through dimensions, is that I always carried in the ethers, so not even in my physical hands, an amethyst rod. And amethyst, as was taught by my mentor, carries the energy of freedom. So if you're feeling stuck in your practice, and wish to kind of free up some possibilities and exploration, and then you can choose amethyst. Does anyone else have some favorite crystals? Rose quartz. I guess I should, obviously go for that one. Rose quartz is an interesting one because it's very loving. It can assist if, though, you don't kind of just go off into like la la land, because sometimes rose quartz energy can just kind of like put you in the kind of la 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 la, and you're just kind of being there, instead of potentially what it would be really potent to do is, when moving into the darkness, into the shadows, into the heavy stuff, is to step in with the assistance of rose, and then so that you can kind of like remind yourself that the unknown is loving, the unknown, the mystery is the feminine, the unknown, the mystery is the lunar energies, and will share, it will kind of amplify that comfort for you to courageously and bravely move where you may not have wanted to before. So those would be my three main ones to recommend if you wish to try a crystal meditation. Yeah, I think there's so many crystals out there. Of course, like there's no one that is wrong because you are connecting to earth energy. But those specific ones that I mentioned, specifically quartz and amethyst, are very potent to assist you when you feel you need a little boost. So any questions about that, or any queries that are coming up? And if not, I think we'll do a crystal meditation today. Yay. So if you need to find one, let's see, I use rose quartz for sure on my body, and I often meditate with my pendulum, which is made of green aventurine. Okay. Excellent. Green aventurine, it'll be interesting energy. I'm excited to hear further on how those meditations have been for you. And if you don't feel like typing now, you can always mention it in the comments later. But there's different type of signatures that are carried within each stone. Yeah, curious to hear how that is. Pendulums. Now, there are many uses of pendulums, but what you can do prior to meditation, if you do carry a pendulum or work with one, is to simply just align it to your energy, which will allow kind of a clear channel to move from you to the earth. It's a great way of like dial 1, reach heart of earth, boom. Now, of course, this is different than using a pendulum on different energy centers that may kind of like when you're looking to balance things energetically. But a nice one is to go, I'm here to ground and to connect my energy to the earth. So as you see, it seems like also this running through theme of, on top of letting go of some of the structure around your practice, is to ground into the earth, and the most potent message, well, I won't say most potent because there's a lot of them, but one of the really potent messages I received from Earth Mother in a journey was of how she shared, because I was like, how can you journey there? You're of Earth. Like, it doesn't make sense to my brain. And she's like, you always anchor to earth. Earth is what your body is made of. And then you can allow your whole being to be present wherever you go, and your whole being acclimates. So there's something, it's not like when you anchor and connect to earth that you are limiting yourself from flying, from exploring the furthest realms of existence. It's actually assisting you in knowing how to return, as well as allowing your whole being to acclimate to the experience. So I think I'm guided to work with quartz today. You're welcome to, if you do have a crystal, to place it in your hand for this meditation. And why I share the hand and not your body? If you're lying down, yeah, let's keep it in the hand today. I was just like getting some like no, it's in the hand. So okay, that's why. Thank you. And see, I'm sorry, this is why I don't channel a lot with quartz in my hand, because all of a sudden it's like information coming in. But what they are sharing, what quartz is sharing, why you wouldn't put it on, I was going to say you could maybe put it on your body, like sometimes people do these meditations. But they're like, why you can have it in your hand is so that then you can have a very clear understanding and awareness of your heart. Your heart, this is an extension of the energy, of course, to your heart, but that you can also acclimate and connect to the sensations that are within there without them being cleared. So if you have quartz, you can grab it. If you are guided to work with another stone, honor your intuition always. And even if it's a river rock or any of that, or if you're guided to work with a plant, and we can have some fun. Please know that if you are so guided to practice these meditations that I record as part of Meditation Mondays, I will, on the replay, share the meditation, like where it begins, so that if you want to practice it a couple times throughout the week, you're more than welcome to, and you can just click on the timestamp in the details. So, for guided meditations, I've shared before, but I will share again that you are welcome to lie down. You are welcome to lie on the floor, on the bed, or to sit on a chair as I am, sit on the couch. You can even sit against the wall and lean your spine and your head against the wall, and even support any part of your body with pillows. So holding the stone in your hand, allow yourself to breathe and receive the connection to this being. To thank it for its assistance. And also to allow your breath to acclimate as your body acclimates to the energy it shares. Soften your belly. Your face. Your forehead. To open your ears. to the sounds that are silent and the sounds that are not. To welcome them all as part of your experience. To connect your heart to the heart of the earth. It knows the way. Just place the intention and breathe. To welcome the energy of the earth and what you carry within your hand and what you carry within your body and what you receive from below. To witness the parts of your mind that become hyper aware of things that may be far away, of things that may be out of your control. And breathe with them. Breathe with those thoughts. Not feeding them. Just accepting that they may have been there and that they can release with each breath. Allow your sight to move further inwards. To accept not seeing. To not try to yearn to see. To accept what is seen and what is unseen. Become aware of the touch and the connection to you and the crystal. To be aware of what you are carrying and to welcome the sensations the crystal shares. To give yourself that simple intention that you trust your heart, you trust you. And you are open to the experience. And releasing any needs of what this may need to be. to welcome the pressures in the body, to welcome the pain and the pleasure, to honor where your mind or heart may bring you. And to breathe through whatever may surface and whatever may not. And allow yourself for some time to now go beyond hearing, beyond seeing, and to welcome when sound and sight may bring you back, to move through the pulsations of that. To witness parts of your body that might make themselves known to assist you in coming back. Coming back to the chair, to the bed, to the ground. To witness the sensations of your limbs. To breathe into the connection of your heart to the earth's, so that when you breathe, you are breathing with the earth. welcoming you on this earth, with this earth, now. Enjoying the sound of your breath, the touch of your hand to your earth being. Giving it gratitude. Sharing gratitude with you. Gratitude with your body. And in your own time, allowing yourself to stretch or gently move your body as you desire. To see if you can gently open your eyes with the rhythm of your breath. So that your eyes opening to what is around you. Maybe giving yourself a hug. Can feel gentle and can feel as flowing as your breath. If you wish to share anything, you're welcome to. And you don't even have to now. It's the beauty of it being on YouTube. You can always share comments after at another time. A good gratitude to the elements. I thank you, water. I thank you, fire. I thank you, earth. And I thank you, air, for assisting and supporting us as we breathed and be. And I thank you for choosing to sit and to share this Monday evening. May you receive what nudges you are meant to receive to assist you on your practice this week. And I look forward to connecting with you next Monday, if you so choose, to continue the journey. Much love. Rest well.